Ah, oh, what's good, Xander? You like the music? I'm glad you like it. Thank you. Welcome again to another edition of Chaos Rain Channel. As you know, I am Chaos Rain here, and today's stream. As y'all know, will be parental adventures. Well, I don't know how you call that shit. Anyway, there will be some swearing and bad words in today's stream. So please, if you have children, please put them to bed. And if you have very soft, moist ears and you cannot understand the harsh language that will be conducted on this stream, I advise now to leave now. Leave now and fast. This is not going to be a sweet stream. It is not going to be a delicate stream. And the reason why that is because, as you know, Chaos Rain, we do not cover too much celebrities on this channel, but I've decided maybe it is time to start focus on these celebrities and make an exception to the rule. In the case of what you see in the thumbnail today. Oh, before I begin, to let everybody know that if you're new to the channel, thank you. And if you're not new to the channel, please hit the subscribe button. Hit the top bell for notifications when I go live or upload. Also, I'm also on Anchor, Spotify, Breaker, Apple, Google Play, all forms of audio podcasts, which I'm trying to now move over slowly so that way people can hear the audio version. You know how YouTube is, that most of these things are audio, some visual, but on Chaos Rain channel, I like to mix up a little bit, mostly focus on the audio side than anything else, but eventually in time, we will go down to the visuals. So, if you're patient and you like the stream, please give a thumbs up, a like button. Also, I would prefer you share this as well. I would mind you share this. What else that's on here? I'm just doing some little last minute look up, check up. Yeah. All right. Looks like that. All right. Okay, I guess that's every. Oh, I can't forget my good friend, Mr. Hall. Yes. All right. Looks like everything is set here. I gotta make sure everything is. Oh yeah, thank you. I'm just looking at one more thing, guys, before I begin. What else I'm forgetting? Oh yeah, if you notice, I do uploads here on interviews on Chaos Rain channel as well. So if your notification not on all, you will not know when the upload is premiering or live. So always make sure to check your notifications to make sure everything is functioning. Let me see. I'm just doing one last thing. Today, I'm probably gonna look at this article, give my take on the situation with Dr. Dre and one of his oldest, Latoya Young. Let's see. I'm just looking right now, guys. Yeah. Yeah, that's it. Yeah, I probably will. Actually. Yeah, why not? Okay. So let's do a little search through the internet. And good evening, Underrated Darkness. Oh, if y'all guys want to time in to today's discussion, let me know now. Press 1. And let me see if I can pull a poll, because this will be interesting. I think it's the time to do that. I'm going to find the poll now. I'm going to create a poll. And this, you'll see here. And this could be a serious question for anybody to answer. And this is going to be an interesting poll. There we go. Let's see if it pops up. It should pop up now. I'm going to have to refresh it. There we go. And always, if you want to support the channel, all right. So let's start the stream. All right, let me see if I can find the article. Okay, here it is. And there's going to be some reading. So bear with me. And like I said, as the poll is circulating right now, I will hope, and this is my say, I hope that y'all will be fair, honest with the poll. So let's share the stream. Oh, I forgot. Oh, my apologies. Today's title, for those who are not aware of this, is Uber is always hiring, bitch. Yes. Yes. If you're a lazy bum, male, but today, for the sake of conversation, today we're going to focus on the woman tonight. If you're a lazy ass bitch and you do not like to work and want to sit on your ass all day and hope that money's going to come like the ATM machine, you are sadly mistaken. This is America. You must get up in your ass and work. Work today, work tomorrow, and possibly work forever. Just like everybody else in America. There should be no stranger in regards to work and work ethics. So, the latest. No, Dr. Dre's oldest daughter, latest Latanya Young's homeless as she raises 4 kids, as sister truly says she can't be deleted. Now, mind you, they said she's not erasing her children. From what I'm hearing now, her children is with other people being raised. And it makes me wonder, the question should be asked, how many baby fathers do you have, Miss Latoya Young? That should be the question people should be asking you. Because it's the way hell from age 22 to up to 38 years old, because she was born in 1983, that you sit on your ass and spread your legs and let a man inseminate and inject and shoot up the club and breed and impregnate you. That you're, for some reason, not under your authority of your boyfriend that will be a husband for some leadership. And I would say many boyfriends, because it looks like you have many baby daddies. But let's go on to the article. One of Dr. Dre's daughters claimed she is living out of her car, despite begging for help from her dad, who is worth around $820 million, while his youngest is a film school student in California. Hold on. Stop. Stop right there. Stop. Bitch. You tell me you just now decide to go to film school to be a student? What in the F were you doing for the last 15 or 17 fucking years of your life? Now, mind you, before I continue, I'm not sure what this woman was doing. Should I care? Not really. But for the sake of conversation, you put in the story that you were in film school. Well, the amount of money your father was giving you, from what we're finding out, is he's still paying for you while you're still under somewhat his watch eye. And to find that you never worked a job in your life, because if you're getting money monthly from your father, it lets me know right off the bat, you're not only entitled, but you're spoiled and you're lazy. I should not be fired from the first paragraph or the first few sentences that you were inspired to go to film school to become either actor or movie director. I'm not sure which one it is. But to find out that, from what I'm hearing, you left one state, which was affordable, to pull your money up, to go back to California just to live a certain lifestyle from the money that your father was supplying you. And on a side note, Dr. Dre is not a billionaire yet. He's almost approaching a billionaire. And I'm going to be honest with all you fellas. And I'm going to keep real with y'all. Your biggest concern is that this woman that he divorced after 24 years of marriage, she's going to get half his wealth. Wrong. She's not getting shit of half of wealth. You see that little 300K a month little paper she's getting? That's just a fraction of the millions this man already has, and it's his network and what he actually has asset-wise that you will never know. I'm just keeping it really out. All right, let's continue. LaTanya Young, a single mother of 4 who works for a food delivery service and a whorehouse, or what do you call it, warehouse, sorry, said she has not received money from her famous dad in 18 months. See right there. See that? So since the month of January 2020, they were right. They were definitely right. Dr. Dre will supply you since you were an adult up to you in your mid, now approaching late 30s. So why I'm hearing that these women, especially, talk this nonsense and demonize Dr. Dre like he's this and that. This man was still covering his children up to some of their adult lifehood. Now, I can't speak for the boys of Dr. Dre, but I know for the few females that he does cover, he does still supply and take care of them. Which the poll should, if y'all follow the poll now that I put in the chat room, is where is the cutoff point where the father has started cutting off these children? Oh, let me see what the comment by Xander. Hold on a second. Let me read the comment, Xander. It says, aren't ride sharing apps paying more because they have a shortage of drivers? To be honest with you, Xander, no, because if you look at DoorDash, if I know you're on Facebook, you notice that DoorDash has been promoting people to be DoorDash. That only applies to certain cities. Now, if she was in Las Vegas doing DoorDash and working in a warehouse, there's money in Las Vegas, Xander. Especially housing and stuff is not that expensive like it is in Cali. If you're in Cali doing that, you're struggling doing DoorDash in Cali. You have to make money in California when the rent is high. You have to put in over 16 hours a day doing DoorDash and Uber Eats and all this nonsense. Shout out to the Crimson Care. But if you're in the other states where the rent is not expensive, you could pile your money up much faster doing DoorDash and working in a warehouse. If you structure your time throughout the day working right. So I hope that answers your question, Xander. Yes, thank you. So let's move on to the article. Okay. Meanwhile, Dr. Young's daughter, Truly Young, is a film student who very active on social media, with her latest Instagram post claiming she can't be deleted. Now, I think Truly Young is the youngest of Dr. Dre's children. I could be wrong. Can anybody vouch that in the chat room, please? Tell me, is this the one that he was married to? I think Nicole Young. Let me know. LaToya told the Daily Mail that she has not seen her father in 18 years and has to go through his team when she needs to contact him. Now LaToya claims she is living out of a rental car to try to make ends meet. Young's mother, Lisa Johnson, split from Dr. Dre, whose real name is Andre Rommel Young, when LaToya was just 15 years old. So when she had the oldest, LaToya, back in 1983, she was just 15. So let's do the math. 15, possibly 16, going 16. She was born between 1968 or 1967. Dr. Dre was born in 1965. So on the average, they're only 2 to 3 years apart, which is not bad because at the time, Dr. Dre was not considered legal adult age. But we all know that age consent now with sex in Cali, I think it's roughly 16 or 17. I could be wrong. I need somebody to correct me on that. But anyway, where am I? Yeah, all right. Okay. Who is Dr. Dre? Dr. Dre, whose real name is Andre Romella Young, is a rapper, producer, and entrepreneur. He is credited in the hip hop scene as a pioneer for the California rap sound. Dre turned 55 this year, founded the hugely lucrative Beats Electronics brand, and was once the co-owner of the famous Death Row label. My fault. Dr. Dre's going to turn 56 this year because, like I said, he was born 1965. All right. He has managed and guided huge hip hop acts like Snoop Dogg, Tupac, Eminem, and 50 Cent. Now, if you follow these two, Eminem right now is going to probably be a billionaire in the next year or two. If I check his net worth, which I'm not going to waste time. He was once a member of NWA in 1985 with Eazy-E, Ice Cube, Yella, MC Ren, and Arabian Prince, and the Doc. Dr. Dre's son died in 2008 due to an overdose. Dre's son, Andre Young Jr., died on August 23, 2008, from an overdose of heroin and morphine, according to Los Angeles County Coroner. His mother discovered in his bed at around 10:30 a.m. that morning, and although she called paramedics, they were unable to revive her son. Young was pronounced dead at the scene. Proud dad. According to journalist Ben Westhoff, author of the book Original Gangsters, the untold story of Dr. Dre, Eazy-E, Ice Cube, Tupac Shakur, and the birth of West Coast rap, Lisa Johnson said Dre was a proud father at the time of LaToya's birth, but the pair split in the late 1980s when their eldest daughter, LaTanya, was 5 years old, after the birth of her two other sisters. The rapper reportedly has 7 confirmed children, 4 sons and 3 daughters, with 5 different women. Not surprised. And I'm going to say something. I know somebody's going to go back to this. I'm an elder going back and forth with other fellas on a particular string. Someone say what he would not do back then. I'm going to say this to most men that's Gen X born 65, maybe a little older or younger, that every man moves a different way in their path of life. Just because you kept the narrow path and you didn't have kids all over the place, that means the next man is not going to do it. I always look at the end result, the outcomes. Are they still doing what they're doing today? Or they have better themselves, and not only their finance, but be better in society, period. That's what I look like. That's what I focus. I focus on that. I don't focus on this other nonsense that he gave birth. He was knocking up chicks at age 17, 16. I don't focus on that dumb shit. And I don't think no black man today should be focused on it either. I always look at what his life is now. The outcomes now. Man's almost a billionaire. So he's doing something constructive and right to amongst this amount of money that will eventually lead to wealth. But let's go on. More on Dr. Dre's or Dr. Daddy's secret kids. The interviewers appear stunned at the fact the Grammy Award-winning rap artist has never spoken of his other kids, and Lisa expressed her anger and revelations in Dre's autobiography. Okay. She says, he put me out there as this well-kept secret, teenager secret. I'm going to tell the truth. She also goes on to say how she met a 16-year-old Dre when she was just 14 and would go on to having her first child, LaToya, at 15 years old in 1983. So I was right. She was born in 1968. See that? 15. 1983. Do the math. 68 subtracted by or actually 1983 subtracted by 1965. You do the math. But it appears Latoya Young remains the only one whose conception was confirmed by Dre's, despite reports Lisa applied for child support for all three children in the mid-80s, 1985, when Dr. Dre turned 20, as well as a restraining order against the star. I guess this is Lisa Johnson said she had 3 kids with Dr. Dre, Latoya, Latanya, and Ashley. Damn, is this the woman? Damn, does she look like a fucking man, guys? This is her, Lisa Johnson. Can you see that? Well, they said Dre was smooth and really funny. I remember when Tupac, when he said stories about the studio and all that stuff. I remember when he said that one of those days when he's with Dre, one day he can't make up his mind if he wants to eat pussy or suck a dick. Now I thought that was a joke, but when Ice Cube made that song No Vaseline, and when Eazy-E made a song, that I forgot the name, Real G's. Yeah. That explains all. But we're not gonna waste time with Dr. Dre's sexuality. That's not the purpose of today's stream. Let's move on. The bombshell claims that Dr. Dre's daughter is homeless and living in her car has put his troubled family life into sharp focus. Now, a resurfaced 2010 interview with Dre's baby mama, Lisa Johnson, 53, who raised 3 girls by the Death Row recording producer, single-handedly reveals that the star's 2 secret daughters, Latoya and Ashley Young, but it appears that Dre's other children have been kept out well and truly out of the spotlight, with the rapper never openly speaking about his 2 other daughters with baby mama Lisa. And I'm gonna say this. Let's be honest. Dr. Dre was still handling his business, still supporting the children. Now, I'm not sure the baby mom, and I think the baby mom got child support eventually. Because, let me tell you, a lot of women not going to say that they get money from their baby daddies. Especially baby daddies that they know they fucking suck, has gone on to be a millionaire. So, to find out that they're going to come up with this tell-all story and all this nonsense, I will have to believe that, this all boils down to attention, to draw some numbers, to maybe get some type of revenue. Not from Dre, but just to get revenue for themselves. And all this came in a timely fashion when Dr. Dre was going through his divorce with Nicole Young. The 24-year marriage that ended in 2020. And all this that was hitting Dre left and right from this and many other things is not surprising me why Dr. Dre would fall into an aneurysm. Rather, Nicole Young might have did something to him, probably put some on his food, wherever case may be, wherever she did smoke this juju or some shit. I don't know. But the stress alone caused Dr. Dre to almost die. And, he survived, luckily. But anyway, let's move on. When Lisa is asked how many children she has with the hip hop star, in the clip, she replies, "I have 3 daughters." The shocking interview says, 3 daughters? How come you only talk about 1 daughter? Lisa responds, "I'm not sure why, but in due time, you will get the real story." So she says. Dr. Dre and her ex-girlfriend, Lisa Johnson, and her 3 children together. Latoya, Latanya, now 36. And the center, Ashley, on the left, now 35. So it looked like from the math, Latoya, they're like born a year apart at best. More on assaults on journalists. The music star also pleaded no contest to misdemeanor battery charge in August of 1991 and was fined $2,500 13 US dollars, sentenced to 240 or 400 hours of community service and 24 months of probation. He later spoke out about the incident and admit his guilty in an HBO documentary series about his work. No woman should ever be treated, threatened, or treated the way I did. And any man that puts his hands on a female is an idiot. He's out of his effing king mind, he said, according to the Washington Post. And I was out of my effing king mind at the time. I fucked up. I paid for it. I'm sorry for it. And I apologize for it. See, we highlight that. So, he had to make apologies to beat the shit out of that journalist. And when I heard the way Dr. Dre beat the shit out of her, is unphantom. Like, he beat the shit out like he was beating a dude up. They said he was in there punching her face repeatedly, kicking her and smashing her head. They said she gave her a serious concussion. She damaged her for life. Dr. Dre, back 30 years ago. Surprisingly. I have this dark cloud that follows me, and it's going to be attacked to me forever. It's a major blemish on who I am as a man, and every time it comes up, it's just make me feel fucked up. Assault on journalists. The allegation of Dr. Dre's violence against women first emerged in 1991 after hip-hop journalist Dee Barnes said he assaulted her after an interview he did not like. And this is 30 years ago, guys. Surprising all this comes around full circle within over 20 to 30 years at best. Barnes had been speaking to former NWA members Ice Cube, who said negative things about the group. At the time, Variety reports, Dre reports then approached Barnes at a party. Her 1991 statement claims that he began slamming her face and right side of her body repeatedly against a wall near the stairway. Dre, who was 26 at the time, then alleged follow her into the bathroom, grab her by the hair, and start hitting the back of her head. Oh, damn. Jesus Christ. God damn. I wish I had some sound effects. Oh, this dude was going to kill this bitch. Oh, no. Ooh. Let me pause. 1 second. Hold on a second, guys. I got to pause. All right, guys, I'm back. Shit. Damn. Let me look at the chat room. I gotta look at the chat room after reading that. Shit. I know, guys. Woo, I mean, I don't know what was the interview that she made with NWA back then, what she asked. But for Dr. Dre to go out his way to sit there, follow her, grab her hair, slam her head, and keep hitting her head repeatedly, he wanted to cause amnesia, brain damage. But anyway, Barnes' lawsuit against Dre was settled out of court, and the terms were not disclosed. I want to know how much she got in that, because he could have murdered that woman. I'm be honest with y'all. That's what he was going to do. But luckily, she survived that. Plagued by tragedy. Dr. Dre is one of the biggest names in music, but his troubling family life recently hits headlines after he alleged estranged homeless daughter spoke out. Dre's fourth child, Andre R. Young Jr., tragically died of a drug overdose aged 20 in August of 2008. So one of his few kids died 13 years ago. So if they were alive today, he would have turned 33. He had reportedly been out with the friends the night before and was discovered in bed by his mother in their California home. The Los Angeles County coroner said he overdosed on heroin and morphine and it was ruled an accident. Young Jr. has been the subject of a paternity dispute in 1990, okay, roughly 31 years ago. Dr. Dre was in hospital 7 months ago. Dr. Dre, 55, was discharged from hospital after being treated for a brain aneurysm in January 2021. The veterinary rapper and recording producer has been rushed to Cabas Medical Center in Los Angeles, or they call it Charter Sanal Medical. But he was later released, and his lawyers report, thanks to my family, friends, and fans for their interest as well wishes. I'm doing great and getting excellent care from my medical team. A post on his Instagram read at the time, I will be out of the hospital and back home soon. Shout out to all the great medical professions at Charter One Love. What did Dr. Dre said after Straight Outta Compton? Rapper and Beats co-founder Dr. Dre apologized to the woman I heard as report of the post alleged altercations with women resurfacing around the release of NWA biopic Straight Outta Compton back in 2015. I was a young man drinking too much and in over my head with no real structure in my life. However, none of this is an excuse for what I did. The rapper, real name Andre Young, told the New York Times back then. Young has not seen Dre in nearly 2 decades. Okay. LaToya Young told the Daily Molly that she has not seen her father in 18 years and has to go through his team, which I read already. Let's go down. Twitter rallies behind Dr. Dre's daughter. People on Twitter LaToya Young and place blame on Dr. Dre. And I bet you that those same Twitters that twitting their fingers, their thumbs were fucking women, especially black women. I bet you was them. I bet you was. You can argue that she's grown and blame her for her own misfortunes, but there's no way I'm a billionaire and my child is homeless or starving. One person said, well, you don't got $1 billion, so you don't have to worry about that. Y'all crazy as fuck. If y'all think it's okay for Dr. Dre started to be homeless because she's 38, I'm so confused. Please don't have children, another said. Man, please. You better hope you got some kids, girl. Some Twitter's trolls side with Dr. Dre. I think y'all missing the part that Dr. Dre cut his daughter off at 37, which means he took care of her till she was 37. One person said, Dr. Dre's daughter really a loser. Laughed my ass off, another said. What is Dr. Dre's net worth? We already know, approaching close to $1 billion, $780 million. And so aside from a prolific rap producer career, Dre's producer Jimmy Levine, co-creator of electronic company Beats by Dr. Dre, which was acquired by Apple in May 2014 for $3 billion. Okay. Dr. Dre fed up with daughter's complaint. The rap legend has 6 children with various women. His eldest daughter, LaToya Young, claims she has not seen her father, which I read, again, 18 years now, age 38. She has also claimed that she is living out of her car despite begging for help from her dad, who is worth, like I said, $820 million. All right. And said her dad has not yet responded to her allegations. But the rapper lawyer has reportedly told her that as she has complained about her dad to the media previous years, he will not give her more money, reports. Okay. Young and stupid Dr. Dre. The famous rapper told Rolling Stones that he had made some horrible mistakes in his life. When I was young and stupid, Dr. Dre added, "Those are some of the things that I would like to take back. It was really effed up, but I paid for those mistakes," which he does, like everybody. Every man and woman will pay for the mistakes in the long run. And he told the New York Times 25 years ago, "I was a young man drinking too much and over my head and no real structure in my life," which is true. However, none of this is an excuse for what I did. I'm doing everything I can so I never resemble that man again, which is right. And we go down. Let me see how long this thing is. Yeah, it's a long. And I'm gonna go through this anyway because I don't think nobody has to really examine this. I I see a few content creators examine this stuff, but to be fair, honest, from how I'm looking at it, they only go by just a little pages here and there because people don't like to read this stuff. I get it, but we should go through it anyway for our own clarity. And let's be honest, it's fun. Reading is fundamental, people, especially on celebrity gossip bullshit. Let's continue. LaToya, just 5 years old when parents separate. Lisa Johnson, now age 53, split from rap legend, now age 55, in the late 80s. The eldest daughter, LaToya, was 5 years old. Johnson had 3 children, all girls. LaToya, 1983, LaToya, 1984, Ashley Young, born in 1985, each year apart. Johnson became pregnant with Toya while in 10th grade at Fairmont, and her funding mother threw her out of the house, according to the original gangster book. Okay. She gave birth to their first girl at age 15, while Young was 17. He was a real proud father at the time, Johnson recalled. Okay. LaToya's mom dated rappers as a teen. Music mogul Dr. Dre is financially supported his estranged eldest daughter, who is living out of the car, and she's complained about him to the media, claims and reports. And here's the funny thing with all this, and people not really following this, and this should be a learning lesson. Your complaints will not stop or hope to put you in the best grace of your father. It's not going to happen. Don't expect it to happen. You could do all that bullshit as long as you can. But at the end of the day, it will not make a difference. And it should not make a difference. Trust and point. The reason why I say is because if your father cuts you off, he cuts you off for a reason. And for you to be put back on, if that is what you desire to do, you're going to have to get on the grace and the program of your old man. And that's the honest truth. I see too many of our women in this community feel they don't have to crawl back and forgive and want to respect their fathers or any black male, period, from what I'm seeing. Oh, and I was looking at the comment on social media. That is crazy. He said that she's going to Uber with her kids in the car. No, she's not, bro. She's not going to do that. All right. Still some things. Okay, let's see what's down here. What? Oh. Sorry. I'm just looking at some things, guys. If I continue this reading, because once I get it done, I might just put the link. Matter of fact, I might put the link now. If anybody wants to have any questions or insight, let me do that now. So I save y'all time. And make sure you like the stream as well, guys. Let me find my link. Okay, I see a woman that wrote. I'm gonna read your comment in a second, Miss. Anybody? Okay, let me see. Somebody left a comment. Let me refresh this. Oh, I can't see it from here. So a woman wrote, Amar Benton, but Dr. Dre had no problem with donating millions to a PWI and paying his white ex-wife $300K a month. I wouldn't care if he lost all of his money. And he has to work for Uber, disgusting woman beater. Okay. That's what the woman wrote here in the comment section, which I don't think I see here now. I don't think she's a subscriber, so I cannot really respond much on that because this was on my StreamYard, unfortunately. Let's go on, guys. But I would say, since she's so concerned about him a woman beater, a lot of women would not be talking about Dr. Dre unless his daughter was still getting nicely compensate every month of the year, free money from her old man. And we always have to remember this woman, this adult woman, is almost reaching later stage of life, middle age. The world and I does not owe you or me any understanding. You should be, as any human being, be productive, work from the ground up. You know what I'm saying? Always try to climb. If you have to work more than one job to get where you need to go, you should be doing this. You should not be on your parents' titty forever as an adult. I don't care if you're a millionaire or 100K in there. There has to be a point where the water faucet has to turn and cut off so the water can stop running. But anyway, let's go on. Where was I? All right, Latoya Young Mom List dated the musician as a teen before becoming a legendary rapper and recording producer. All right, she was raised in South Central Los Angeles before moving to live on the city west side. Her dad was out of the picture, and her brother has been killed in gang violence, according to Ben Westhoff's book, Originally Gangsters: The Untold Story of Dr. Dre, Eazy-E, Ice Cube, Tupac Shakur, and etc. Who is Dr. Dre? We all know his real name. We're not going today. Going down. All right, let's see what this is. Saying the same thing. I'm looking at down here. I'm trying to find. All right. Some of the tweeters users side with Dr. Dre. Now, this is where the fun starts. I think y'all missing the part that Dr. Dre cut his daughter off at 37, which means he took care of her till she was 37, one person said. Okay. I think y'all missing the part that Dr. Dre cut his daughter off at 37, which means he took care of her till she was 37. Yes, we all know it by Devol. And one says she's a loser. Another person argue Dr. Dre is 38 years old with 4 kids living out of her car. You can't argue that she's grown and blame her for her own misfortunes. But there's no way my. All right, we already read that already. Okay. All right, end this now. It's winding out to the conclusion. Young said payments were stopped. He used to help with our rent and gave an allowance, but he told us he wouldn't do it anything anymore. I'm out of the streets, Young said, and her famous dad. I asked him for help, and I haven't gotten a response back from his lawyer. Reps of Dr. Dre did not immediately respond to the Sun request for comments regarding Young's allegations. Also explains how it hurts her to know how much her father is alleged paying in settlement after divorcing his wife of 24 years, Nicole. The Young said that she was told her father is paying $300K a month to the ex. Okay. All right, I'm going now. Now, does Dr. Dre know his grandchildren? Dr. Dre's daughter, Latoya Young, said the rapper and entrepreneur has never met his grandchildren. Rightfully so. My kids are old enough to know who he is. They are in shock that they doesn't want anything to do with them. Okay. Young and her 4 children are staying with friends, and she tries to save up money to get her own place, while her father has a net worth of 820 million. People label me as a millionaire daughter, so they don't understand why I'm working. It makes me want to crawl under a rock, he said. Well, first of all, most millionaires' children, from what I'm hearing, do work. And I say they do work. Do all of them work? I don't know. But I know that they do work. And this applies to non-black people. White millionaire children do work. Now, do all of them work? Not en masse, but their parents, especially their fathers, that instill guidance, responsibility, and some form of leadership to the children, has always emphasized they have to do something instead of being a bum. Now, the ones that become bums anyway, you know what the parents do from the white side of things? They cut them off. It's that simple. And let me say something to a lot of people that find this unpopular. Cutting off is not a bad thing. Let me say it again. Cutting off is not a bad thing. Whether you believe it or not. And the reason why I say this is because some cutting off is a necessity. It's needed in this community, especially this community right here. Well, let me finish reading, and I'm going to give some other things on this. Latoya Young's mother split from Dr. Dre, which a Tyler. Okay, no. Let me go down. That's the same thing. Okay, let's see this. Now, mind you, the divorce with Nicole Young and Dr. Dre. Dr. Dre has what we call what they call a thing in a contract, not paternity. Damn, it's slipping my mind now. This is paternity, not paternity. Non-settlement is a contract. He has what they call it'll come back to me. But he had a contract that Nicole signed with him before they got married. That's supposed to protect Dr. Dre's wealth moving forward. And the rumor is that he tore it up, allegedly. And I don't believe he tore it up. I think he has it. And that's the one defining factor that will decide how much money, besides the $300K she'll get a month by Dr. Dre, what she really is owed. And to let y'all know, Nicole Young was found proven in regards to what we call money laundering. And that was a strike against her. See, if she didn't commit no money laundering, she would have gotten the money in advance and possibly maybe more. But because she was found that she was money laundering in the family, that really stopped and put a hold on how much money she could get from Dr. Dre, from this divorce, if y'all remember. But let's go on. Dr. Dre and his wife, Nicole Young, was married for 26 years before Mary announced getting divorced. In July 2021, it was announced that Young had won a huge victory in her spousal support, battling against her former husband. The former couple revealed they were divorced in June 2020, with Nicole citing inconceivable differences as the reason what behind the couple split. The last time Dre and his soon-to-be ex-wife were seen together was February 2020 at a Tom Ford show. Who is Nicole Young? The first known ex-wife of NBA player Sadell Treat, I think his name, Sadell Treaton. Nicole Young then became more well recognized as wife of Dr. Dre. She was married to Sadell for 3 years. Before her marriage to Dr. Dre, she worked as an attorney. The two got married on May 25th, 1996. And this is her. And his youngest was born 20 years ago. She just turned 19, and she eventually going to turn 20 by this year. And this is one that's studying in film school. Okay. So this is one that's studying in film school. My fault. So Toya is not really studying. Latoya Young is not doing nothing. She's being bumming out right now, working 3 jobs. Yeah, Nicole look like she's a white woman. All right. Who's our rappers cheering baby mamas? Okay. I'm not going for that again. And this is Dr. Dre's ex-wife, Young. Doctor's first son with ex-wife, Nicole Young. Don't look like Dre. Look like more like his mom. All right. Okay. All right, I'm just going strong. Okay. I'm just scrolling for this, guys, because some of this is repeating. I don't know who did this article. This is unprofessional. Why I'm seeing sentences and paragraphs repeating? To me, I don't understand that at all. All right, that's it with this article. And now I'll put this in the description for y'all to read. Stop sharing. Prenuptial. Thank you. Respect. I don't know why it slips my mind about prenuptial. Thank you, Alonso Hall. And for those who want to invite and give clarity, if you dare, Alonso, please jump up. Now, this is the call section of the stream. And as I wait, I'm probably going to do this. One thing, as I'm saying this, while I'm still active, is that there has to be a cutoff line between father, mother, and child. I feel that the cutoff needs to be is a necessity in my mind. And the reason why I say it's a necessity because it needs to be done. Okay. But my thinking is this, that at the end of the day, as a father, you gotta have some cold veins if you want your children to do better in this world and to do better to what has come or what is to come in this world. You cannot do the same thing over and over like every other father if you're involved in your children's life and hope to get a better result for your children's development so they become productive citizens of society. My thinking is this, that I feel Dre, because he's a multimillionaire and now approaching billionaire, there are certain things he could possibly do better in regards to his children. Now, I don't know the ins and out about his involvement, which they said that I don't take women's word seriously, fellas, and I don't think you should either. Because if a man that's making money and making moves, he has 2 options. Either he's going to spend some time once in a blue moon, or he don't spend no time at all. But because this man is making money, and not just making small, he's making serious money, I rarely see anything he'll spend on his children unless he's in a marriage with that baby mama, which he was not. And it goes back to show you ladies, you should not be playing baby mama to any man moving forward, unless it's going to lead to some marriage down the line. And if you get knocked up by these dudes, whether he's productive or not, you're stuck with him. You better work it out. And you should work it out. You should not be bouncing from man to man, procreate with different men. It spoils you in the short term and long term for any potential mate that's doing something constructive. And let's be honest, it's not a good look. Now, men at the end of the day do seek relationship and want marriage. Men didn't want right there and then in their 20s, but as they approach 30 or close to 30, they start. So I don't want to hear the story that these men don't want no family, no relationships, etc. It's nonsense. It's a lot of nonsense, in my opinion. Men at the end of the day want a functioning family. They want to build up something. And they can't be always bouncing around. As the man gets older, he gets more wiser in his movements. You get me? And I don't really see a lot of black people today really want to see and build, from what I'm witnessing. From the man's side sometimes, and a whole lot from the female side. One thing I would say in regards to what remedies and solutions a person could take to better off themselves, I would say the best thing for the solutions aspect is, if you have children, make sure your significant other is involved with your children as best as possible. Rather you hate their guts, it's better that you still make a place and a comfort place for your children, your boys and girls, to have some access to your father. I feel that there's not much access done with the mother's side from what the daughter's been saying. And really, truly, what the hell was the mother doing with his daughters? Because to find all three of them that's adults now, and most of them were still being compensated with housing and allowance, that to find out that you're not doing nothing constructive with the money, bitch. What the fuck are you doing with the money? For it's 2001 up to 2020, 19 years. Because if you're not working or going to school, you're lazy, you're a couch potato. You're sitting back, hoping to gather money, sitting on your ass, maybe eating and possibly fucking for 18 to 30 something years old. And we know the outcome of it because you have 4 children by more than one man. Because in the early part of the stream, no one ever asked this woman, one of Dre's oldest, where is the father at of your babies? Because if you're a woman and you sitting there have time to be procreating and having multiple children, yeah, co-parent, yes. Oh, let me read the comment section, please. A matter of fact, I'll do this. I'll put it up for y'all to look at. Please, co-parent. Yes. Most of the moms bad mouth the dad, and the mom was living like a RHOA. I think that's return on investment. Could be wrong. Yeah. Yes, Alonzo. That's what they're doing. That's what they're doing. And here's the funny thing about this. I know countless baby mamas run away the baby daddies. And for a good reason. And I don't accept most of these dudes leaving their baby mamas for a reason. But for the sake of conversation, if you're not married to this man, is you make it too easy for a man just to get up and leave. And I was watching a sister posting something about, that ladies, you should stay with these dudes and you should not be getting no child support from these men. I had to push back on that. And the reason why I got pushed back on, because there is a large number of homosexuals out here. A lot of dudes that are baby makers, baby factories. Yeah, that's what it is. That's what it definitely is. And I don't watch Real Housewives of Atlanta. I remember there was another story about another content creator talking about Kenny Moore filed for divorce, and she has a kid, a baby, by another man, and they both in their late 40s. And I'm thinking, say, wait, bitch, you have a kid at 47? What the hell you been doing with yourself for the first 25 years, or much less 13, 15 years of life? I do not really condone and really respect find these people not having babies, especially women at mid 40s. That's scary to me. The first time you give birth to a child in your mid 40s, that means when your child turns 20, you're about to be in your mid 60s. You're gonna be old as fuck. And you're gonna be an even older fuck grandma. And to be honest with you, because people are living longer, men and women, doesn't make excuse that you're gonna start having children way late, especially if you're a woman. I don't advocate late births for women. Now, for a dude, he could probably wait a little longer. I mean, there's not really no serious clock overall. And I will do a stream on that about, dating older, and they talk about sperm counts of men, how it declines after 35 or 40, it goes a little downhill. I look at what a man is doing, being productive during those years, because let's be honest, as the man gets older, his finance does get better as he gets older, depending on what he's doing. Now, is it applies to all men? They get better with age and finance. In this country, it's a possibility, depending on what he's doing. But overall, some men don't improve and they stay the same way they are. And some don't even have kids because they don't want to deal with the burden of possibly divorce. Possibly. And to be fair, honest with y'all, I don't condone divorce. Divorce should be the last minute ditch effort, and it has to be for a good reason, and a really good reason. I'm not sure why people are getting divorced after a year or two. If it was that easy to walk away, maybe you shouldn't have gotten married in the first place. I'm just saying, you should not even waste your time got married. It defeats the purpose for you as a woman to just get married so you could divorce. It's backwards. It's a lot of backwardsness. If you're married, stay married. Work it out. Your foreparents worked it out. Whether good and bad, you're no different. If you can't work out a simple argument or some things that don't go your way as a woman, then I would say marriage is not for you. You're better off buying that dog or that cat and dying alone. You get me? Yeah. So let me see how long I've been up here. I see nobody coming up, so I'm just going to check one more thing. Refresh. All right. In the poll, because no one else is responding. I'm going to see the results now. And the results are in. Let's check. As I'm seeing here, should the fathers cut their children once they reach adult age, 18 through 25? Some say yes, 6%, and some said no. And I only had like 5 votes because let's be honest, this channel got much people watching or responding. But if I expect more people on this, I would expect the same results, which people, which is mostly men on here. Maybe one woman probably said no. And it's logic for women to say no because let's be honest. If they say no, that means by default, all right, Lance, I'm bringing up by default, they want their fathers to keep supplying until their ever days, until the man hits the grave. I will say it's no, and that's not a smart move long term, especially this community. But that's all I'm going to say. But anyway, I'm open the line. Hello, Alonso Hall. How you doing?
What's going on, Chaos? Thanks for bringing me up.
Welcome. Good. So, your take on this stream so far, as I titled, Uber is always hiring, bitch. You know? What is your take on this from a more of a business business point of view and everything else? Go ahead. The floor is yours.
So this is dynamic, and a lot of people may not agree with what I'm about to say about Dre. He failed, in a sense. Now, I can't say that completely because I don't know their full financial situation. I can't tell their entire situation, but, and this is why your title makes sense, Uber is hiring, bitch. Because it's likely that Dre did not do back then what he would do now. Right?
Mm-hmm.
So what do I mean when I say that? From a business perspective, a person who's worth $1 billion, excuse me, the kids he has, he's going to do things like put policies in place or put trust funds and other financial products in place so that when they reach certain ages, you know, they're, for lack of a better term, a trust fund baby, right?
Yes, correct.
So here's probably what he did. Just looking at the type of business person he is and how he is, even though he was estranged from his kids, because he wanted a relationship with his grandkids, and it said he was paying her bills up until what, December of 2020?
Yes, up to
So
when she was turning 36 to 37. Yes, correct.
what he probably did, like many, was put money in a trust fund for the grandkids, which cannot be touched until they are age of majority. And she cannot touch it. Now, she probably, the way that he was funding her until she was 36 was likely how most wealthy do. They prepay. So he put X amount of dollars away and said, let this money last you for X amount of years. She, like, unfortunately, like Black Uru used to say, said, you know, unfortunately, we kind of train our daughters wrong sometimes in thinking that this is a never ending resource. So
Exactly.
she unfortunately thought it was a never ending resource and that daddy would always come to save the day until she decided to not stay under his tutelage and go have 4 kids by some random dudes.
Mm-hmm.
So now those kids, they didn't ask to be here. I promise you, Dre has put money away for them. But they cannot touch it, and the mother cannot touch it until they are at least age of majority, which in most states is 18.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Yes.
So now their mother is mad at Dre like, well, Dre, I see it all the time in my field with wealthy people because they blow through their trust fund and then, well, I need my niece's money or my nephew's money or my daughter's money. Why didn't you leave me more money? Because I left you enough for you to be responsible for a few years.
Mm-hmm.
And so she wasn't responsible with what was left for her, which is why she's in the predicament she's in now. Someone was also saying she's renting a car that's like $150 a day.
Yeah, it's an SUV. From what I'm hearing, is a irresponsible business move. You're doing Uber Eats. Why are you buying an SUV? You're not even doing like you doing. My fault.
If she was doing Uber Black, I could get it.
Yeah. Yeah. Go ahead. Sorry.
But she's not doing Uber Black. Like you said, she's doing Uber Eats.
Yeah,
Right?
yeah.
Uber Black, especially with her being Dr. Dre's daughter, makes a lot of sense. And living in California, because
Mhm.
Uber Black means that you are going to have a Cadillac Escalade or some luxury car, and you're going to be driving around, rich people. But
Mhm.
if you're not doing Uber Black, you don't need the Cadillac Escalade ESV when you don't work for your own money.
Mhm.
And that's the problem. She don't work for her own money. So yeah, Dre did partially fail if he didn't put certain things in place. But at 36, I know someone who was a hedge fund manager who had a daughter who was living in Soho in the Tribeca area. And he was paying all of her bills until she turned about 38. When she turned 38, he cut her off until
Mhm.
she turned 42. From
Okay.
38 to 42, she had to figure it out herself. That was 4 years. That was like her adulthood high school.
Mhm. As
Because
an
that
adult.
4 years,
As an
yeah,
adult.
yeah.
Yeah.
And this is a Caucasian lady coming from a wealthy family. So this is what they did as tradition. But
Okay.
the reason he cut her off was, again, very much like Dre's daughter. She was just used to living off of his dollars. He has other children who he hasn't cut off. But they might say, look, Dad, all I need is for you to pay my rent. I don't need for you to lease me a new car every 2 years, buy my new furniture, pay my rent, upgrade my apartment, you know, pay my gym membership, this, that, and the third, which is what she did. She took advantage of it, which is why he cut her off.
Mm.
You know, wealthy people do that all the time. They cut people off.
So,
No.
Alonso, let
Hmm.
me ask you one question. All right, because you work in the field of insurance and you create policies every day in your business for the last decade or so, and you deal with people who have money. You see the policy put in their children and what they ask you, what they want and what they don't want, because they know what's going to happen to their children if they're coddled a certain way that they cannot function without their big man or their old man's money.
Hmm.
So why
So
is
there are
it?
a lot of
Yeah, go ahead. Go ahead.
there are a lot of people who will set up things um, because they know that without their old man or
Mm-hmm.
their old man's money, this
Mm-hmm.
child will not survive. Um, you'll see a lot of wealthy people who have children who um, they'll set up trust funds
Yeah.
and they'll use things like life insurance to say, well, I know that while they're alive, they're going to blow through this trust fund. They're going to end up being like Dre's daughter and highly upset with me when I go through all this. Now, she may be trying to stress him out to the point where he has another aneurysm and dies, because it's
Yeah.
likely that, everything is tied away there in terms of what he left for her to enjoy while she's alive. But he probably is going to leave her something for when he passes along as well. We already saw him have the aneurysm from the stress of dealing with the divorce. Who's to say
Mhm.
that this doesn't send him, isn't the tip of the iceberg? There he dies, and then she gets a couple $1 million in insurance money.
Well, let's say if that is the next big move, because let's be honest, his wife is already got paid off, and with the what they call the prenup, which has really have not surfaced yet because there was a prenup during their
Hmm.
marriage 25 years ago. That this is the thing that holds her to gain even greater wealth from Dr. Dre. See that 300K she's getting a monthly, she's only getting 3 million out of this man's 720 to 820 million dollar net worth or actual wealth he has residual.
Hmm.
So you're not really getting half the wealth. And the
Right.
reason why she's not getting all that is because she's found to engage in money laundering in the family, which they don't talk about
Right.
that. And people say money laundering is a federal offense. So
It is.
because this guy got the aneurysm, he had to yield. But don't be mistaken that she's gonna get any half of this man's wealth. And a lot of women, especially black women, say, "Oh, look, he's with this non-black woman. He's gonna get all the wealth for himself." I said, listen, bitch, you didn't marry him. And I said, if you really
Exactly.
want, if you're concerned with wealth of the community and certain men that makes wealth, you stay fucking married. That's the end story. That is the solution. You sitting there getting divorced and getting partial money. It seems you just here for the fucking bag.
Mm.
That's it. So when I hear his daughters from the same article I read, and probably this other articles talking otherwise, that they were more concerned about this man's money when they saw that his wife was getting 300K a month. They forgot she was married to this dude. That's why she's entitled to that money, and she was lucky to get 300K. The way it was structured, the way how it was structured, she was going to make like $1 million and $5 million a year.
Right.
So I want black people to, especially black people, start think critically that you are not married. You are fucking baby mama. Baby mamas don't get nothing at the end, especially your children. You gotta hope and pray that your father leaves something for you if he makes it big. And you know, you talked about this before, alongside most men today, especially in our community, we don't do life insurance properly.
Mm-mm.
So imagine you're not in good beds with your parents. You're not getting nothing. You're gonna start over.
Start all the way over.
Yeah.
You know.
So yeah. So
you mentioned that, and that's actually real big too. So, men, and also I want to shout out. I didn't know that you were against divorce. That's really big.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But men, you have to realize this. So one big thing, right? We talk about baby mamas, but men, let's look at our legacy. And let's look at something that we're allowing to happen to us by not practicing cock control.
Yes.
We're going out here and we're making these women pregnant. Or getting trapped by babies. Trust me, I had a woman try to trap me with a baby in the past before, so I understand. But it was my stupidity going in there raw, because I knew what she was capable of. But when you get these trap babies, fellas, you have to demand that that child has your last name. That's something important, right? Because now, when that child has your last name, right? Even if the mother keeps you away from her or him, now when they're growing up and they're feeding poison into that child's brain, your daddy ain't shit. You see, he wasn't never here. Da 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 da. Even though they tell you about the rehearsal the day after, oh, your daughter had a recital yesterday. You wasn't there. Well, you didn't tell me about it till today. How was I supposed to know about a recital yesterday that you didn't tell me about till today? Right? So, men, we understand that these pitfalls are against us and we keep running headfirst into them. Let's be preemptive. So let's make sure that baby has your last name, right? That will make them ask questions as they grow in age. Well, how come everybody else's last name is Johnson and mine is Wilson?
Okay.
Right? Small things like that. Right? We got to preemptively strike, man. We got to strategize. We understand that in these battles, it ain't set up for us to win, but we can't be like lemmings and just keep jumping off the cliff. We got to figure out how to build a bridge to get to the other side. Right? So little things like that, yo, can definitely help you go a long way, because like you said, man, a lot of these men we don't get proper life insurance, right? So then think, ladies, if you're a baby mama and your baby daddy didn't give and you didn't give your baby's daddy's last name, then why would he get life insurance and leave that child possibly millions of dollars when it doesn't even have his last name lineage? Even if you're running game on him and you slept with his best friend and you pregnant by his best friend, but you're accusing it of being his baby. This happened to my father actually recently. Yeah, I thought I had a 5-year-old sister. I'm 37 years old, bro. But come to find out, the woman was lying to my dad for the last 5 years. So she was sleeping with his best friend, and got pregnant by his best friend, but his best friend wasn't nothing, and my father had a job, so she put it on my father. But she didn't get the baby his last name or nothing. So he was like, well, I
Wow.
want a paternity test. I want a paternity test. I want a paternity test. And then finally, I was talking to him about getting insurance. He said, before that, I want a paternity test. They took it, found out it ain't his baby.
Wow.
But
And he
even if
has
the baby
still pay the
ain't
child
his,
support though, don't he?
huh?
He has still pay child support, right? Was he put on child support?
N- No.
Okay. I didn't
Luckily,
know.
he wasn't. He's not on child support with that.
Okay.
Thankfully. But
Mm-hmm.
these types of things happen. But so fellas, if the baby has your last name, that's more incentive for you to even if she did run game, at least your last name is living on. So you can at least, have that knowing shit. Well, just like the Koch brothers or, the Disney family or, the Chase family or the Morgan family, my name will live on. They're not going to, 100 years from now, they're not going to exactly know my bloodline, but they will know my name.
Yeah. I agree.
You know.
One thing, and the funny thing about all this, I remember when Uncle D was having a conversation about this today, and it really got me amped up to really talk about it now. And I don't really talk about celebrities like that, and I try not to do it on this channel, but I might have to look into it now because it looks like this is more important for people to really keep an eye out and a perspective from certain creators. That a lot of women don't understand that young black boys, get kicked out of the house before they even turn legal age of consent of having sex. So, and mind you, their mothers kick them out for nothing. So when we hear about kicking out people, that's nothing new. That is nothing new. And to be fair and honest with you, it shouldn't be nothing new. Hold on, I see. There is nothing really new. So to find that a man cuts off his daughter, now we see some problems. We see people pushing back, women and some of the men. I hear some of these dudes that can be our age and a little older, bro, saying, well, there's something we call unconditional love. No, you only select that with unconditional love. Are you with that with both your son daughters? I guarantee you unconditional love with your sons, especially if they're your actual sons. You
Yeah,
will,
no, that only goes to the daughters.
yeah, yeah. But when it's come to the girls, it's a different situation, a different scenario. And I said, as a man, you gotta pull back. You gotta have your veins cold, brothers. You're gonna have to cut out that unconditional love. But when it comes to men, they expect the black man to be very nice, subservient, and very much docile and very much what's the word? Motherly to you and your children.
Yeah.
They don't want you to have that cold veins like most women. They will cut off anything in a second. They can't afford the black man to be like that.
Well,
Especially black
here's
men
what's funny.
that's being productive. It can't be that cold. But I tell you, the days are coming. I'm gonna say, just keeping it real with y'all. Go ahead.
If it was Dre's son, we wouldn't be having this conversation. Nobody would care that Dre cut off his son and stopped giving him money. They'd be like, you're a 38-year-old man. Go do something with yourself.
Exactly.
And you got 4 kids? What are you so you could make 4 kids, but you can't do your own thing? You need daddy to pay your bills? But because it's a 38-year-old daughter, oh man, you got to have unconditional love. Listen, man,
Mm-hmm.
let's be honest, because if the shoe was on the other foot, right? If that daughter, right, of those 4 kids she has, let's say one of them turns out to be a billionaire like Dre and works his butt off and gets to $1 billion, she's not going to want him to do 2 things. She's not going to want him to find a woman like her ex-mother-in-law who reams you for $300,000 a month. And she's not going to want you to have ungrateful kids who think that you're supposed to pay their bills. For example, her kids should be upset with her. Why do you have us living with family? You're supposed to be taking care of this. 20 years from now, when they're grown, she needs to be still paying their bills, and they need to blame her for them, doing digital Uber or whatever it is 20 years from now.
Yeah, being unproductive for up to their mid age.
Yeah.
Doing overeats and doing warehouse jobs. That's like every adult. Hell, most of us men probably start work before we turn 20. So to
Yeah.
find a woman like yourself that is entitled and has been comfort for this long, you should be very grateful. And matter of fact, you have a long way to go since you just now started work now in your life.
Yeah.
You still got a lot. You still got. Let me see. She's 38 now. So I mean, you got another 25 years at best before so-called retirement. Maybe if my math is right or wrong.
Yeah,
But
it's about.
yeah, so let's be fair, honest. You had life easy up to this point. Now you have to really live like a fucking adult. And I'm gonna tell you right now, I'm not like this. Majority of women, if you don't set your life up properly and really look to besides working for yourself instead of trying to find a mate and work it out with a mate, if you decide to play with sex and have kids, you're gonna work till the day you die. 7% of women in America work. So the people that's the 30% that don't work, they're just the lucky one. And I can see that number shrink to 70 to almost 80% at this
Well, we
time now.
also have to realize something about the people who don't work. Let's realize a few things. The
Mm-hmm.
vast majority of housewives and people who don't work don't live the Real Housewives of Atlanta lifestyle. Number one. Number two, those people who are quote unquote Stepford lives and live in those multi-million-dollar homes with those extremely rich husbands,
Mm-hmm.
they work. They
Mm.
might not have a traditional job or what you consider a job, and they might not trade hours for wages, but they work in terms of they might have to work the room, or like somebody was saying, Lori Harvey has to remember for Steve Harvey all the people that he goes and connects with's name. So she's probably remembering, hey Steve, that it's John's birthday. Hey Steve, we got to go to the golfing party with so and so. Hey Steve, we got to go to this birthday party. Hey Steve, we got to go to this event, because you have to remain amongst these people's faces to look prevalent, so that the next time you do a comedy show or a fundraiser, they'll open up their checkbooks and drop $50,000, $100,000 into the donation,
Mm-hmm.
right? So you
Correct.
don't think that that's work? Her keeping up with the Joneses and going shopping every day, yeah, it seems fun, but her going to that store is not for fun. She has to keep up with the Joneses, so she finds out what's going on at the PTA meeting, and she's on the homeowners board and this, that, and the third. See, it looks nice to us, those of us who don't live in that lifestyle or haven't seen that lifestyle for real.
Mm-hmm.
So it looks like, man, that's nice. But let me tell y'all, folks, because a lot of us come from, the inner city or, lower middle class. Not even upper middle class, but lower middle class. So, a lot of us come from, regular everyday $50,000 families, which is lower middle class,
Yeah.
right? But that's
Correct.
most of America. So then when we see, Real Housewives of Atlanta, we think they're living high off the hog, not knowing, listen, she got to go to the gym X amount of hours a day religiously. You got to, there's so many things you got to do, because you got to have the certain pomp and circumstance to even be in the circle with a man of this caliber, to enjoy the
Mm-hmm.
fruits of his labor. You know what I
Exactly.
mean? You got to know how to eat with a salad fork. So when you go to share Shayla expensive restaurant with him, he doesn't look like a fool in front of his clients because you're eating seafood with the salad fork,
Mm-hmm.
right? That's
Exactly.
work.
That's work. Yeah. And I want people to get out the delusion of that you're not going to work. You're going to work. Listen. And the problem with a lot of women that listen to certain content creators, what's good, Bitcoin L? Links in the thing if you want to jump in. Is that don't be fooled. Everybody pulls their weight one way or the other. And sitting in the house doing house chores, you think that's work? That's nothing. You get me? Because we have things more modern and technologically savvy that you don't have to do much to break your back. You get me? And here's the funny thing about all this, Lonzo. I was in a discussion with people, and they were asked question the importance of men and women. Why a woman needs a man in this day and age. And I'm saying, are we really having this discussion? But it only comes to black folks, we have the stupid discussions. Why you need a man?
Mm-hmm.
Otherwise, people don't think and operate and move like we move, like here. If you think you had to ask a question, why you need a man, it tells me you are not only delusional, but you're very much not connected with yourself. You're very distant in your actions, in your thinking, and think that you could just survive in this world, this Western world alone, and that's it. And we tell you personally that this country or any nation besides maybe some, well, really most countries outside the world don't operate where people they structure society, for
Yeah.
individuals. No country runs operates like that. We designed for you to be individual. We only want you individual in regards for the money to go back to us, but in regards thriving and surviving in society, no, you need a man and a woman.
Oh
You know how
yeah,
much money
you
it's going to
definitely.
cost this country? You know how much money it's going to cost you to keep supplying and feeding certain people because they don't want to live under some tutors of a man? It's too much strain in the system. But like I said, we have these conversations because we, as a people right now, are insane.
Right.
Oh, I see the comment section. Let me read the comment section. I will only cut my child off if they're being irresponsible. Okay, there. Well, Bitcoin is more than irresponsibility. Your children should look at you as not only a resource, but something to look up to for guidance and leadership. Not every time your child should come to you with their hand out, especially they reach adult age. They should be seeking and learning. And I feel because, maybe she had that connection with her father, she could possibly learn something. But it goes back again, when you're young and you get older, that if you feel that you could sit on your ass and get allowance with housing and some type of money monthly, then there's no need for you to improve on your own mindset and your abilities and skills, but to really socialize with people. Because now you develop a superior complex. Like, I'm entitled to this. I need this. And to be honest with you, I doubt this one of his daughters is going to try to cause him to his little brain aneurysm or cause him to be the death of Dr. Dre. I don't see that. Because Dr. Dre has put things, preventive measures around himself and the people around him that he don't have to worry about that. You get me? The thing with the aneurysm, he got that from his wife. But in regards to the children that he supplies through a little resource monthly, he don't have to worry about that. Because they're not going to get close access to him. The only way they can get access to him is she's going to get on her knees and going to sit and have to really find a way to compromise to the point where you're going to have to work for your father.
Yeah. Now I do want to give a little pushback to the not cutting off and the cutting off, because here's the thing, and this is something that I do understand. When it comes to daughters versus sons, right?
Mm-hmm.
So
yeah.
Now remember, I told you also, I know somebody who's a hedge fund manager who cut his daughter off at 38.
You might have to talk close to the mic. You sound a little distance, a little bit, just a little bit.
Sorry, I know somebody who cut his daughter off at 38 because she was abusing, the money and stuff as well. But one of the things that for men, and this is a reason why we wouldn't cut our daughters off, is because we're holding our daughters for other men, right? So technically we're supposed to hold our daughter until she finds a suitor, until she finds someone that is sufficient to be a husband. Whereas our sons are going to eventually want to go out, because what happens as a man is, and we even hear this from, especially single Black mothers, when a male, right, reaches a certain age and he starts going against, quote unquote, his mother's, quote unquote, authority, or bucking back and not listening, and you're smelling your nuts, well, that's because he's becoming into manhood, and he's not supposed to be listening to mommy anymore. He's supposed to be in a position where he is bucking. So if his father is there, he would be bucking against his father for dominance of physical superiority, which is why men do get put out the house early. But women, If there ain't no man around, woman, what you doing putting that man out the house? It's just something you think you should do because you're protecting your masculine energy, which ain't supposed to be threatened because you ain't supposed to have it because you're supposed to have a man around.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Okay.
So yeah, that gets dangerous. But I think we have to be careful because we are supposed, like with my children, right? When I have them, my daughter is going to live with us until
She
I'm
finds a mate.
about to give her away until she finds a mate. My son, when you're of a certain age, bro, you're gonna start not wanting to follow my rules. You're gonna want to live like a man. Right? I don't need to follow your rules, Dad. I'm grown. I'm gonna come in when I feel like it. I'm gonna bring who I want to bring in. I'm gonna eat what I want to eat when I want to eat. And I want to go out and explore. I know you told me to be in before 11 p.m., but guess what? I'm just walking the streets, wandering, learning my surroundings. I don't want to come in at 11 p.m. So you, as a man, have to go off because you're gonna want to do your own thing.
Mm-hmm. My thing, I have certain strategies in regards to dealing with younger adults once they reach 18 years of age, so what they call legal adulthood, that there should be a plan set in action. And let's say there's both parents in the children's life. Now, obviously, as a father, you sit down with your son, you think, say, all right, what we gonna do now, son? I mean, we're not, but lay out what we expect out of you. And you know the old saying, there's two things in this household. Either once you reach adult age as a boy, either you go to work, go to school, which particularly college, or get a trade, or go military. And you must lay out what you're going to do. And there should be a time frame. You get me? Now, if they're not seeking any above, then obviously, yeah, the next other solution is to throw them out. Knowing that that's a little, we don't want to talk about throwing children out in the street, in the wolves, but there should be laid out a plan, and this is what's going to be. You get me? And that is more a better alternative. And we all know most young adults that's 18 years old, some of them can't figure out, and some of them want time just to do the productive things. So they eventually it'll come to them as they reach 20, 21, etc. There should be some thing laid out a plan with your children. And the problem with our communities, we don't lay plans for our children once they hit adult age. We hope that once they hit adulthood, there's two things: they go to college or they stay in the house, sit down, don't do nothing, and eventually they're not being productive. Now, for the girls, yeah, they should be home as long as certain things are put in plan, and eventually that they find a mate that will take them out of your yoke. But like I said,
Right.
with parents, with parents, etc., especially mothers raising their children, or both the fathers raising them, or both, there's no set plan of action where the direction you want your children to be or go in this world, and that has to change. Because let's be honest, this is a good discussion to have. What's going with Drake, but this could also apply to every parent in America, Black especially. What we should be doing. No child should be coddled to a point where we have stories like this of young girls that's actually a woman now, a mid-aged woman, now starting to work at age 30-something years old. No, that shouldn't happen. You should have been working while you were just turning 20.
Yeah, much sooner.
Much sooner. To find you working out, that means now you are far behind the 8 ball. Because now you had no direction. To find you doing 3 jobs, that means you're not well educated, which I know a lot of space that education is not that important. I disagree. You should be educated enough to be somewhat sufficient. You get me? If you had to go to school, make sure it's something that's leading to a career, or go to a military, or to a trade. Whatever case may be, you should be productive as a person. That's why I push productivity. You get me? When people are not productive, there's stagnation, there's laziness, there's dependency. That's why when they talk about the evictions and all this stupid shit, if you get evicted out because you're not paying rent, that means you were never productive as a person. You should not be owing so much in rent, regardless. You find a way to still make some money somehow.
Well, you got
some way.
People looking for the fast buck.
Yeah. Well, I'm not saying we're fat, but still, like I said, to find that the government has, and mind you, we all know in this country they're not supposed to legally evict people like that because is not designed to put people in the streets like that. And my figure, they won't put you out in mass numbers. They're gonna do it very slowly because they do it at a certain quick snap of the finger. It's gonna cause revolts. It's gonna cause distrust, in front of all cities across America. So they gotta do it very slowly. You get me? So when people feel they're getting time prolonging the so-called greater eviction, they only prolonging your inevitability. They're gonna make you throw you out because people gotta start working again. And rent has to be paid because that's money lost. Because the government can't keep supplying money and adding more to the debt than it already is. We're just almost to the
Right.
brinks right now. We're over the 20 trillion mark. All right. So this system could collapse anytime now. I want people to hear me good. Anytime now. You only can borrow so much that you're going to, the reset is not going to be enough. They're going to have to say everything has to collapse all together because it's not going to be paid off. So, like I
Well, that
said,
was part of the pandemic.
Yeah, it's probably been, yeah. If you're a person and you're not being that productive at all, you better start being productive now. Do not be lazy, dependent on anything. Do not be LaToya Young, Dre's older daughter, having hand up for so long. Now she has to figure it out. You should have been figuring it out while in your 20s. Matter of fact, if you're getting money like that, you should be stacking up. But like I said, we don't have financial literacy as a people enough. We don't think on these things. I know most women think that they don't need to think about, but they should. Same with the men. You gotta start thinking on this because if you get money like easy, you need to start planning how you're gonna maneuver with the money you're getting freely to how you're gonna make this flip $1 and turn it to $5. That should be the thing of every black person move forward. In the West, we call America. So that's all I'm gonna say. Any other remarks, Alonzo Hall?
I mean, not too much. Once again, Chaos, thank you for bringing me up here. I do want to mention though, like you said, it is shameful, to be nearly a 40-year-old woman at that point. You did mention about, the men being homosexuals, and we got to correct ourselves there. And I think, like I said, to be honest, I don't know that he did, but in this situation, I'm going to say if he didn't put the things in place that wealthy people would, then he failed. But I think he would have put those in place as Dre is speaking. And I'm sorry, as speaking for Dre, just seeing from how his business acumen is today and in the past, just like with Ice Cube, to be able to come as a quote unquote gangster rapper, but yet still have the reality to go and do the contract for Black America, lets you know that he's probably, like Dre, gonna have put some things in place that even back then people weren't thinking about, but he was probably thinking on the level of Jerry Heller and all these execs who own the companies who got life insurance, right? Because I wanna talk to this real quick because I was on another podcast earlier today and I was explaining something called COLI, corporate-owned life insurance, right? So when we're talking to Black people, I want to talk to especially the youth, right? The young Black kids out there who want to be rappers and singers, right? And you hear about the 360 contract deal, but you don't know what's everything in there. And there's something called COLI, corporate-owned life insurance in there. So when you have rappers like Pop Smoke or XXX Tentacion or any of these hip hop rappers who get killed while they're signed to a record deal, right? Well, when the record label gives you your advance, let's say they give you $1 million, that means you're gonna have to pay them back $5 million in record sales and ringtone sales and merchandise sales and commercials and in tour money and all that, right?
Yeah.
So if you get killed, they're going to get their money back anyway. Because they're going to have a life insurance policy that says, oh, well, you died and you were under contract, so any money that was going to go to your family is going to come to us.
Okay.
So like Pop Smoke, when Pop Smoke died, 50 Cent got a big check because 50 Cent G-Unit signed Pop Smoke.
Oh, wow. That would have been big if he was still alive, man, because he was the next big thing for a 20.
He was the next 50 Cent.
Yeah, I seen him. Yeah. Yeah.
You know?
He died. Yeah, it's
But
sad.
50 Cent said, hey, he said, hey, I'm gonna put this corporate owned life insurance policy on you so you can talk all that gangster. But dudes do run up, and they ran up, and he died. Well, you don't think that, the company didn't pay for his death?
Insure him. Insure him. Yeah, of
Or,
course.
yeah, insure him? Yeah,
Of course
so they,
they have to.
they, they look out for this type of stuff. So, like I hear dudes talking gangster all the time. Like I work with you've heard of the rapper Mo3?
I don't think so.
Okay, well there's a recent Texas rapper by the name of Mo3 who got murdered in the streets. Well, personally, I worked with someone who's on his producer team, somebody who made beats for him. And they was bragging about he was bragging about how the ops or his enemies had quote unquote put money on his head or put up X amount of dollars for someone to kill him. And when I kept talking to him about life insurance, hey shouty, I'm good on that. Do you think he's good when he got gunned down in the middle of the street? His family has to watch that. And now, even if he did own his masters, he was in a 360 deal to Boosie Badass. So Boosie Badass record label probably owns anything that dude had. Now, because Boosie Badass is a street dude, he may have, taken care of his family on some street stuff. But most of these guys who own these corporate record labels aren't these street dudes. So they're not going to give your family anything. And corporate America is much more ruthless and cold-blooded than the streets.
Wow. Damn. Well, it makes sense because corporations are the original gangsters, and they're
Well,
protected
yes.
by a bigger gangster. Imagine that. Imagine that.
Yeah.
Yes. Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. Hope you check the chat, the back chat. Okay. Well, thank you, Alonso. Like always, it is good chatting with you. You know what I'm saying? And like always, support Alonso Hall's YouTube channel. He's putting out short videos on finance and insurance. So check him out. You get me?
Yes. Thank you.
All right. Oh, and look at the back chat before you leave.
No,
Okay.
I thought.
All right, cool. And my closing remarks. This should be a lesson learned to a lot of our people. And one thing I will say personally, that if you have not learned through the mistakes what Dr. Dre done, with the future he has and the backlash he's getting now, should be a wake-up call to every brother or any man that you're going to have cold veins at the end of the day if you're trying to accumulate any wealth or order amongst your family. The ones that you create and the ones that you have to support in the long term. At the end of the day, cutting off of your children at a certain age is a necessity. Because let's be honest, we don't want no entitled brats. We don't want lazy children that become lazy adults that can't function in society. We do not want that. So, like always, if you're a father and you're playing a role in your children's life, you sit them down and lay out what you expect out of them. And if they disobey these type of few things or the laws that you lay out as a man for them, cut them off. That's the best thing you could do. That's the only thing you could do because the world has to teach them at the end of the day. The world will kick their ass. It will be the best teacher than anything else because this is a dirty, wicked world we live in. And it's not going to get any cleaner, any better. So learn from your mistakes, man. Other than that, I'd like to thank everybody for listening to today's stream. If you're new to Chaos Rain channel, please hit the red button and the top bell for notifications of upcoming uploads and upcoming live streams. You can also now follow me on podcast, Anchor, Spotify, Anchor Breaker, Google Play, all those audio podcasting of the Chaos Rain Show. I'm there as well. Oh, and I forgot. You can also follow me on Twitter and you can follow me and be friends on Facebook, named Eric Rain on Facebook. Those are links to follow me. And they will be eventually in the description in future streams. So, like always, people, you know where to find me. I'm out. Wait. Hold on. Look at us. We're